Thanks.
What's up, Yuma? I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon.
On today's program, we will be joined first by Nick Navarro. He is a founder of Apex Performance, and we are going to be discussing athlete development, strength and conditioning, injury prevention, speed training, and helping local athletes reach their full potential through evidence-based coaching. After that, it's on to Kyle and Taylor. They are two of the founders of 3 Bougie Chefs. They're going to be sharing their journey from fine dining and world-class kitchen to building one of Yuma's most popular food truck concepts, known for their smoked meats, gourmet sandwiches, bold flavors, and exceptional hospitality. So stay with us for What's Up Yuma Radio, beginning right now on KOFA 94.7 FM.
And streaming online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. You can also view our show on the Border Radio Facebook page and the KAWC YouTube page. And don't forget, you can reach out to us by email at whatsupyumaradio@gmail.com.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Citrine Law, LLC, a Yuma law firm practicing criminal defense, DUI defense, and personal injury law. Information is at citrinelaw.com.
Chili from Philly. Nick Papagiorgio from Yuma.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to another episode of What's Up Yuma Radio. I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon. And Johnny, how about those Knicks?
Yeah, they did it, man. You got your Knicks shirt on today, so.
Reppin', yeah. So, I mean, you're a Suns fan. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. But if our teams can't win, you want a good story, right?
Yeah, and it was a great story. Like you said, 53 years.
53 years. That's longer than we've all been alive.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think of that. The last time they won it all.
Yeah, and they did it, and it was definitely a story. Absolutely a story. And, yeah, it was cool to see all the old school. There was a post on Facebook, like from day one to day one, you know, and then WON and all the Spike Lee. And
Spike Lee's been there courtside for
years and years. Yeah. So all the people that have kind of been there watching and doing it. So it was a cool story. Yeah. At the end of the day. So.
Yes, and I feel like San Antonio, they'll be back. They're a young team. They have Wembanyama. I think he'll learn from it. But like a lot of people say, like you have to learn to lose first before you win.
Yeah, and he's young. He's 22 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, he's
right?
like 22 years old.
Tall and
yeah, that's why, because he's so tall, people think he's older, and you know. But yeah, he made it this far. It's an incredible run. And I know he kind of mentioned we were dominating the whole time, but you don't dominate and lose. So people were teasing him about it. But in that first quarter, you know, at least the first quarter, and then to the second, they were dominating. But,
right. Yeah, it's not how you start; it's how you finish. Right.
Yeah, you got to finish strong. So yeah, but so that's news. And what'd you do this weekend?
Not much, since Friday we were both out at Pine House for the tap takeover.
Yeah,
you were there a little longer. How did that go?
So I was there for about 3 hours. It was good. It was cool. A lot of people came out, which is cool to see, because typically when it starts to get warm here, you know, people start to like, okay, I'm not going to go out. I'm going to just hang out in my air conditioning at my house. But it was packed inside and outside. I
think it was a combination of, and shout out to High Tanks Brewing for being there. But I think it was a combination of people there for High Tanks, Friday night, and then the U.S. soccer match sort of brought people all together.
Yeah, it brought people
downtown.
Out. And it was a really good crowd, and we had fun. A lot of giveaways, and people were excited to win stuff. So I always love giving stuff away when I go and do these things. So
well, hopefully they do that again, because I think it was successful.
Yeah, I hope so, definitely. And I know High Tanks is going to do more. They're going to do one in August at Wheezy's.
Okay.
One of these Thursdays.
Yeah.
But, and then you said you didn't watch the UFC.
No, there was a lot going on with sports. Obviously, the NBA finals, the NHL finals wrapped up yesterday. And then there was soccer pretty much all day, every day since like Thursday.
Yeah.
So I didn't see all of the soccer matches, but I saw some of the bigger ones, like Germany won like 7-1.
Oh, what?
Which you can understand. That's like a football score. It's like they scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a touchdown.
Germany beat a small country. I can't think of right now Curacao maybe. Mm-hmm. And then like Spain's playing right now. I think they're scoreless, which is a surprise. And so we'll see U.S. and Mexico play again next weekend. So
and Japan tied, I believe.
Japan tied. Canada tied. since we last were on air.
Yeah, there was a funny meme on that one too. It's like, where's everybody going? Because they were showing people leaving the bar afterwards. It's like, where's everybody going? You got to stick around for overtime.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. What do you mean there's no overtime? And and the ties. But no, I wanted to bring up the UFC real quick because Gaethje, who's from Arizona, worked here in the mines. He's won. He's the champion now.
Okay.
And he was the huge underdog. So if you put money on him, depending on how much money you put on him, I think one guy put like 150,000, and it was like 6-1 or something. So or 7-1.
That wasn't you?
No, I wish I had 100.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, no, I'd be like, I'm out. I quit. No, I'm just kidding. But who do we have today?
We have Nick Navarro. He's the founder of Apex Performance Yuma. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And shout out to Justin over there at the lab helping to make this happen. He said, you got to get my guy Nick on, man. He's doing big things over here. And I said, absolutely. You got it, man. So before we get into what you do at Apex, we like to get to know you a little bit. And now I found out I know your brother. I've known your brother forever. That's pretty cool. But born and raised in Yuma?
Born and raised in Yuma, yep. Played sports here my whole life. Ventured off to college, was grateful enough to earn some scholarships playing sports. And then, just kind of through life, the city kind of brought me back.
Mm-hmm. So then growing up here, you said sports. What sports were you into? Did you do the soccer thing like everybody for a little while?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I feel like all little kids, that's kind of the segue to get introduced to sports, especially at a young age.
At young age, usually, it starts off soccer. You're 5. You could go around there, kick a ball,
Yeah. So I played soccer for several years growing up, and then kind of got into baseball, and then as soon as I kind of got into baseball, my dad was a super fanatic with baseball. So I kind of let that kind of take its course, ran away with baseball for a long time, and then introduced to basketball through my brother. So kind of got the both of.
Okay, so baseball, what position and how good were you?
I was good enough to get some looks for college.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I played baseball and basketball at Palomar College in San Marcos, California. Baseball, when it came to baseball, I played mostly infield. Wasn't the fastest. I couldn't play a whole lot of outfield. So they kind of put me at third base, shortstop every once in a while. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I kind of stuck with third base and pitcher for the most part.
Okay, so what does it take to be a good third baseman?
Really good anticipation skills. Third base is kind of one of those things where you're sitting there. You don't have a lot of time to kind of overthink. It's just more of a reactional position. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things that it keeps you on your toes. You can't overthink a whole lot. It's a reactionary thing. So yeah, man, I would say just having quick reaction time.
Mm-hmm. And so then you said baseball, then to basketball because of your brother. Like, was your brother playing at the rec, or what was that?
No, so he grew up playing basketball. One year for Christmas, we got a hoop. We put it up outside, and he was constantly outside playing basketball. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go out here and take a shot for myself. And then just the competitive nature of brothers growing up, it kind of sparked my interest a little bit more. Like, okay, what do I need to do to get better than this kid? You know?
And how much older is he?
He's 3 years older than I am.
3 years older?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 years. So then, it's just that competitive spirit with my brother, and then that kind of just lit the fire. And I'm like, let's see how far we could take this ride, you know?
Mm-hmm. And so then did you start, what age was that?
Ooh, good question. I think I started taking basketball somewhat serious in like 6th or 7th grade.
So did you play for like your junior high and your high school?
Yeah, so I played in junior high, played in high school, 3 years varsity at high school.
What high school?
So I went to KOFA for 3 years, and in my senior year, I graduated from Cibola.
Okay.
Cibola High School, yep.
So you played for the KOFA those 3 years, and then you went and played for Cibola?
And then, I transferred to Cibola and then finished out my high school tenure at Cibola.
Okay. And then what position did you play? And
point guard.
Point guard?
Yeah, point guard.
Oh, okay.
A little bit mix of a shooting guard, but I knew point guard was probably going to be the transitional position to get me to the next level. So I tried to hone in my skills as a point guard more so than trying to move without the ball and all that kind of stuff.
So I'm going to ask you the same question about the third baseman. What makes a good point guard?
Good vision, being able to manage the tempo of a game, trying to stay even keel, making sure that your teammates are in line with what you guys got going on, and then just a lot of positivity, man. I think that goes a long way, especially as a point guard. You kind of, like I said, you control the tempo of the game. You kind of,
and the tempos could be key, right?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, you don't want to rush things sometimes. You got to get some good looks. You got, okay, wait a minute, like they're expecting us to rush. Let's pull back a little bit.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. So if you're not controlling the tempo, you can get caught up into the game, and then next thing you know, you're trying to rush everything, like you said, and then you're kind of falling into the other team's trap. So it's a tough position, man. But it was fun.
So how'd you guys do at Kofa?
To be completely transparent, we were terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, we were absolutely terrible. At Kofa.
I knew it. I know.
But it was a great time because at the time when we were playing at Kofa, we got to play some really good competition. Schools like Hamilton, Brophy, St. Mary's. So some of the bigger schools, as far as just basketball mecca in the state of Arizona, a lot of those schools developed NBA players, high quality college athletes. So it was a fun experience.
So like anybody that of name that you could say that you played with, or?
I played against Jared Bayless. Jared Bayless was probably the most dominant basketball player at the time in the state.
Yeah.
He had a lot of comparisons to like the Mike Bibbies and things like that when he was up and coming.
Yeah.
The kid was super electric, super explosive.
Yeah, and he went to University of Arizona.
And he did, yes.
So,
he went to U of
So
A.
he played in high school. Yeah, he's one of the guys. And then he went to the NBA, I think, briefly, at least for a couple years.
Oh, gotcha.
Got drafted and went to the NBA for a little bit.
Correct.
So then, so at the same time, you're doing basketball and baseball for high school?
So I didn't play any baseball in high school. I kind of just stuck with basketball.
So you just stuck with it. Okay.
Yeah. And then when I got to college, that was kind of like an open tryout where I decided, you know what? I played baseball a majority of my life leading up to high school. Tested the waters out, made the team, and then just kind of stuck with it from there. So I played 1 year of baseball at Palomar College, but both years I played basketball there.
Are you familiar with this college, Palomar?
I'm not sure, but you said California?
San Marcos,
California.
Okay.
So Southern California.
I go to him for all of that. He keeps me on track with those.
Gotcha.
So then what were you going to school for? It wasn't like a scholarship thing for baseball. What was it that you wanted to study?
So originally when I first got to school, I wanted to major in fire science. I wanted to be a firefighter.
Okay.
And then my first summer there, I actually volunteered at a fire station, and one of the things that they had me do was wash one of the engines. And that was like... It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And then just kind of being around the firehouse, kind of talking with some of the guys that were already there. I don't want to say I was discouraged, but come to find out, a lot of guys that get into the firehouse, men and women that become firefighters, paramedics, that's more of a retirement gig. They kind of stay within that firehouse for long periods of time. So the likelihood of me getting in immediately to a place that I was kind of shooting for was slim to none. And it kind of discouraged me a little bit. So then I kind of switched routes and wanted to go into nursing, but then I got put on a wait list at U of A nursing program. So in the meantime, I was kind of going through just the waiting game. My mother, she's actually the one that got me into therapy. She graduated as an occupational therapy assistant. And she had told me, like, hey man, give it a shot. At bare minimum, it provides financially, and if you want to pursue something different, you can. So I kind of just took her word for it and then chased it from there.
So what does an occupational therapist do?
So occupational therapy, what we do is we provide a new normal for people with their new limitations, new disability, whatever it may be. We kind of get them back to a functional living lifestyle, trying to facilitate their functional independence.
So it's somebody that's been hurt, like some type of way. What was a typical patient look like?
So it depends on the setting that you're in, but you get everything across the board from TBIs, strokes, total hip replacements, total knee replacements, shoulder surgeries, and then just kind of getting them back to their functional daily activities as much as possible. And that's kind of the whole gist of it. And they kind of oversee a lot of mental health and things like that as well.
Okay, so you said your mom said, give this a shot, and then you said, okay, I'm going to do it. How long did you follow that career?
So I have been an occupational therapy assistant for going on 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
And so did you enjoy it? Was it like, hey, good job, Mom? I really appreciate that.
Yes, no, actually, so prior to getting into school, you had to do a certain amount of observation hours to be accepted into the program. I think the total amount required was 8, and I put in 8 on the first day of observation because I was just fascinated by the work.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
So I was able to watch a therapist who was working with a patient that had a stroke, and just the mind-bending interventions that the therapist was able to come up with to have the patient engage and to be able to accomplish the goals that they had set for that patient. I was mind blown.
So that intrigued you more, like you're watching something in real time, maybe somebody's mind kind of come to life a little bit through these techniques?
Yes, 1,000%. Yeah. And then when I got into school and started learning about the human body and the functionality of the body, and then just different things like that, it's like, man, this is pretty interesting stuff, you know? And then, of course, you start to break down like the neuroplasticity of the brain and the way that the brain works and how certain things affect the brain. And then take a deeper dive into therapy. You learn about roles, rituals, habits from different cultures and different people.
Really?
Yeah. So it's very holistic. It's something that's really cool, really exciting to kind of try to wrap your head around.
And now at Apex, you're combining that and doing something else with athletes, right?
Yes, correct. So at Apex Performance Yuma, I decided to go the route of the occupational therapy base, where it's like proper body mechanics, functionality of the movements, preventative injury standpoint, and then tying it into my extensive period of just sports in general, working on my speed certificates, my strength and conditioning certifications, things like that, piecing the two together. And then that's how I developed Apex.
Okay, so now is that a full-time thing for you, Apex? Do you work for somebody, or like where'd you go as soon as you graduated?
So as soon as I graduated, I worked in skilled nursing facilities. I'm still currently employed by a skilled nursing facility here in Yuma through Life Care. However, I'm just their PRN at the moment. I'm in the phase of transitioning for Apex to be the full-time permanent gig.
Okay, so we're going to take a break, and we're going to come on the other side of the break and find out what made you start this and like take that leap of faith.
Gotcha.
All right, we're going to do that right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Run by music lovers like yourselves, KOFA Border Radio has what you need. A non-commercial home filled with music heard from all over the world. Tune in at 94.7 FM, 1320 AM on the KOFA app or at borderradioaz.org.
What's Up Yuma Radio is sponsored in part by Nova Home Loans, serving Yuma County and nearby communities. Nova Home Loans offers residential lending services, including home loans and refinancing. They are also proud supporters of local community efforts and organizations. More information is available at novahomeloansyuma.com.
You're listening to 94.7 FM. The weather forecast for Yuma today is sunny with a high near 109, mostly clear this evening with a low around 81. In this week's Arizona edition, a local farming operation says its handling of biosolids is safe. You'll hear about Yuma's mayor race, and the Apex Performance Troupe teaches kids about acting, choreography, theater, and singing. You can listen to the latest episode of Arizona Edition on the KAWC app and at kawc.org. Stay tuned to 94.7 FM.
From KAWC, this is Siendo Primero.
Oh, classes are over, and it's time for a summer break.
We are taking some time to rest and prepare new topics for the next semester.
But you can still listen to all of our past episodes at any time.
This show is available as a podcast or online. Just search kawc.org under the show's tab.
Have a great summer, and we'll hear you soon on Siendo Primero.
The City of Yuma's annual Back to School Rodeo will take place at the Yuma Civic Center on Saturday, July 11th from 9 a.m. to noon. The first 2,000 students, K through 8th grade, will receive a backpack filled with school supplies.
Child must be present, 1 bag per child. Details at yumaaz.gov/events.
Tuned in to Border Radio KOFA. We are your local public radio station that celebrates the power of music to bring people together. You can see our playlists, listen to our live stream, and listen to past programs on demand on the KOFA app. Find it at your favorite app store.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here joined by
Nick Navarro with Apex Performance Yuma. So we're talking before the break. You're in occupational therapy, and what led you to want to create, your own business or to open up Apex? Start that.
The venture came just being a super sport enthusiast, man. Like I just, playing sports my whole life, understanding what it takes to try to get to the next level if it's something that you're passionate about, and then kind of having the understanding, like I said, of just the evidence-based practice from occupational therapy and kind of tying the two together. I thought, what better way to work with student athletes and try to encourage them to do what's necessary to try to train themselves to get to that point.
Yeah. So is there a particular sport athlete, a particular sport you work with athletes for, or is it a mix of several?
So we see everybody, basketball, football, baseball. I have a couple soccer athletes. I have a tennis player that comes in. So we see pretty much every sport across the board. And we're welcome to everything, man. We're open to everything.
Are there any common injuries that you see with young athletes specifically? Like I know it might depend on the sport, right? Like if you're a pitcher, you're going to have, your arm's going to be, needing to work out versus like a basketball player need to work on like your legs, right?
So we see a lot of shoulder soreness, a lot of, they call it a tennis elbow, with kids like kind of overthrowing with their arm, kind of snapping down instead of using the rotational power of the trunk and kind of throwing from the shoulder. They tend to throw out their elbows pretty quick. When it comes to basketball, we see a lot of patellar tendonitis, little things like that kind of flare up in the knees. They get a lot of knee pain. And if it's something that I'm uncomfortable with or I haven't seen before, or it's, seems like it could be like an underlying issue or something major, I've never been hesitant to kind of refer out to a specialist or someone that kind of oversees that.
Okay, so then you're mentioning this now. Do athletes or can athletes come to you preventatively?
Preventatively, yes. As far as rehabilitative, I do not oversee that.
Okay, so but preventative, they come to you. That's what they mostly come for. Like you said, the pitcher throwing and like their elbows going out. Like it's like, hey, I want to throw a little bit better. Do you help them or how?
Yes. Yeah, so we work on proper body mechanics.
There you go.
We'll take a look at like the balance. We'll take a look at the rotational power. We'll take a look at the mechanics of the arm when they're throwing. So it all comes from a preventative injury standpoint, mechanical based, and then we try to navigate it from that point forward. So I'll always kind of take a look at general base movements to see what their functional baseline is as far as like their athletic ability, and then we push forward from there.
So then how do you get versed in all of these different modalities or the different sports, right? Because like Victor said, one guy's throwing the ball and then the other guy's his knees are blown out because of basketball. So how do you, now this is how you got to position your knees, or this is how you got to pivot, or how do you is it training? Is it courses? Like, how do you stay on top of that?
So it's a little bit of both. So just kind of following up and staying active with the license, making sure that you're doing proper CEUs, not only for the therapy degree, but also for the speed and the strength and conditioning certificates.
So tell me about that. What's the speed and training certificates?
So it's just like if someone were to go to like the ISSA, which is like the Institute of Sports Science, you can obtain these certifications. So like as a personal trainer or something like that, I opted to not become a personal trainer and just get specific certifications that I felt would kind of benefit the athletes that I would be working with, to try to enhance their functional output on the field or on the court or whatever it may be. So just kind of making sure that I'm staying relevant with the CEUs, staying up to date with any kind of research or anything that's out there. And then again, like just falling in line in the sense of the kinesiology and the proper body mechanics and the foundation of the way that the body moves, what muscles, what ligaments, what tendons, and all that kind of stuff are being used when they're going through these motions, and having that understanding. You kind of just put the two together and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, I was in the gym the other day, and I was training with a guy that has been doing it for a long time. I go to the gym, I just kind of do stuff. Like, I'm like, whatever. And then he was like, hey, move your arms, do this, and then it's going to work out this one part of my shoulder I didn't even know existed.
Gotcha.
Right? You know, it's like, wow, the human body is like, now just do this tweak this. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, that's a little muscle right here that we're targeting.
Right.
And I was kind of like, I'm sore now. I can't do as many just because I made a little tweak.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of people think that they have to throw a lot of weight around in order to get strength, or they go into a weight room and they have no idea as far as like the functionality of the movement that they're doing. But if the proper body mechanics are there and the full range of motion is there and you're doing the things the right way, that's kind of when you expedite the process as far as like optimizing your results.
How long you been open now?
So May was 1 year.
May is 1 year. So you took the leap of faith. You became an entrepreneur. Was that pretty nerve-wracking for you, or?
Extremely. It was extremely nerve-wracking to kind of take that leap, only because I was so comfortable in the therapy realm, you know, having two kids of my own, trying to make sure that I'm kind of managing the everything that has to do with the household and all that kind of stuff. So it was extremely nerve-wracking, a little bit scary, but then, shout out to my wonderful wife, Ezel. She kind of gave me the backing and kind of pushed me out there and was like, dude, if anybody could do it, you can do it. So just kind of taking that mental note and making sure that I have that support. And if she's in my corner kind of pushing me toward it, there's no reason I shouldn't do it.
Absolutely. And having a good woman that has your back, that's priceless, right? That's like everybody's dream. And I will say this, you didn't just say that because you're on air. You told me that when you walked in about your wife, right? So I just got to say that, like, that wasn't just something you were saying to kiss her butt on air. You told me when you walked in, it was because of your wife. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you did it. You took the leap of faith. You opened a business and you partnered with Justin at one point. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. So before I started working out of the lab, the company was pretty fluid. So I would use local parks, local gyms, kind of meeting my athletes at different locations to perform the training sessions. And then I finally took another leap and reached out to Justin. And I'm like, hey, man, this is what I got going on. Is there any way that you can kind of help me facilitate this? Being the dude that Justin is, man, he'll give you the shirt off his back. He's a great guy. He was like, come in, see what you think about the gym. If it's something that you can utilize, if it'll facilitate what you want to do, just start doing it, So yeah, big shout out to Justin at the lab, man. He's been tremendous as far as the segue.
Tell everybody a little bit about the lab. What is the lab? It's a basketball gym, a gym all around. And how'd you meet Justin?
Yeah, so the lab is it's a 24/7 open facility. You have a full court basketball set up in there. You have a tremendous amount of weight systems. You have free weights. You have cardiovascular machines. You can go in there for your full body workout, throw some weight around. You can go in there for a training session. You can go in there just to shoot some hoops, just kind of relieve some stress. There's a comfortability that gym offers in the sense of you kind of feel at home. There's loudspeakers in there. You could throw your music on in the speakers. You can kind of just be in your element there, So he's done wonderful things with that gym. I've known Justin for a very long time. I met him when I was, I want to say, in 7th or 8th grade, just on the basketball court, man. And if anybody knows sports, like it works wonders for people's lives in the sense of just collaborating, meeting people, people from different cultures and different ends of the world. So yeah, I met Justin playing basketball, and then it come to find out that we kind of brought ourselves back together through hoop.
And then, so you mentioned you knew him, then you asked him like, hey, could we collaborate on this, whatever that looks like, and you mentioned he's a good guy. So, like, your I guess what would there be, clients or patients or whatever? Do they have access to that? Like, you could take them around and kind of.
Yeah, so when the clients come in with me, they have full access to the gym, full access to the training material, full access to the basketball court. Of course, if Justin has something going on, we kind of stay to the side, and we'll think of something different to perform that day. But for the most part, Justin's been fantastic. He's facilitated everything, no hesitations. Doesn't ask for anything extra, man. He just opens the doors, open arms kind of thing. So it's been fantastic.
Yeah. So what does the future look like for Apex?
Hopefully bright, man. It's over the course of the last year, it's just been, it's been a blessing. It's been a gradual increase. We're up to 26 athletes at the moment. And I just hope that it continues to grow. It's one of those things where I developed it, as I was speaking to you earlier, we kind of developed it in the sense of trying, what can I do to afford kids in the community where I grew up an opportunity to kind of maximize their athletic potential, just to kind of compete with some of these bigger markets. You go to some of these bigger cities, and like I said, these kids have trainers.
Yeah, they have access to so much at big cities, right? And then we're here in Yuma, we don't have access. So you're trying to provide that for them.
Yes, absolutely. Whether it's speed, balance, strength and conditioning, the coordination aspect, there's a whole bunch that we can touch base on. So yeah, it's just trying to be that vessel for the kids in the community. I feel like there's a lot of athletes that kind of go overlooked, especially coming out of a smaller rural community. So just trying to get that microscope on these kids, man, in the community, and seeing what they're capable of doing. And it goes beyond sports. It's not necessarily just something that they have to stop at the sport. Like there's competitiveness in life, So it stems beyond the sport. But if they kind of build these healthy habits, and they start to recognize what is necessary for them to just be stand-up individuals moving forward, whether it's sports or life, that's what we're trying to do.
All right. So tell everybody where Apex is at, and how to find out more information, maybe on Instagram or any of your social handles.
Yeah. So you can always catch us at the lab, 3121 South Avenue B, Yuma, Arizona. That's where we're kind of the home base is at this moment in time. And you can catch us on Instagram, Facebook. We haven't made it to X yet. That's in the near future, hopefully. On the social media pages, it has all the contact information. You can reach us through that. We also have a website, apexperformanceyuma.com. That will give you a full rundown as to what Apex is, what we're about, our mission statement, and then all of our packages are on there as well. So you can find us quite a bit.
All right. Well, cool, man. I really appreciate what you're doing for our local athletes and these kids. And yeah, like you said, you want to highlight them and make something available that big cities have. And Yuma's on its way up. So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just want to thank you guys for bringing me on. I appreciate the time. One more quick shout out to Justin in the lab. Shout out to all the parents that trust me with their kids and their athletes. Shout out to Coach Johnson over at Yuma High Baseball and letting me kind of run his program a little bit from time to time. And then the last shout out is to my daughters. I think I was telling you before we came on. They found out that I was doing a radio show, and they were talking to my wife, and I kind of overheard them from the other room, and they were like, I think Dad's nervous a little bit, which I was, so shout out to them for kind of giving me the courage and, just to kind of handle things with the appropriate confidence. So I appreciate both of you girls. You guys are awesome, and I love you guys.
All right. Thank you so much. And with that, we will be back with Kyle and Taylor, 2 of the 3 Bougie Chefs. We're going to be back with them right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
This is Border Radio, KOFA, your passport to your global destination for music. We are your local public broadcasting station that can be heard through your radio at 94.7 FM, 1320 AM, on the KOFA app, and at borderradioaz.org.
What's Up Yuma Radio is sponsored by Citrine Law, LLC. a locally owned Yuma law firm practicing criminal defense, DUI defense, and personal injury law throughout Yuma County and across Arizona. Citrine Law serves clients in English and Spanish. Information at citrinelaw.com.
Tom Hacksaw Colson had a 2008 Ford Escape Hybrid that lived a previous life working in photo radar. After using it for years car camping, Tom's car died right outside of Parker. Rather than tow it, Tom donated the car to Border Radio. If you'd like to donate your vehicle, running or not, visit borderradioaz.org/cars.
This is folk singer Michael Jonathan. Join us on Wood Songs this week. We have bluegrass and roots duo Hancock and Shouse, plus the grand prize winner at the Rocky Mountain Songwriting Contest, Ty Sean, plus an amazing Wood Songs kid. All of this and more on this week's broadcast of the Wood Songs Old Time Radio Hour.
Tuesday evening at 7 on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM.
The KAWC Student Newsroom is funded by the Local News Initiative at the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona, the Scripps Howard Fund, and by generous local support. Thank you for supporting the next generation of public media. Learn more about the project and hear stories from emerging journalists at kawc.org/student newsroom.
I'm Public Radio Runner. Join me for Bonus Smiles, the show sharing the stories and playlists that fuel runners. Why? Because the rando cheering you on at a mile 77 aid station is the same kind of person who supports local public radio. Join us every Saturday at 5 a.m. on KOFA at 94.7 FM for stories that soothe and jams that power long runs.
I'm Mike Suba, and I'm a big supporter of KAWC. You're getting a great source of information about our community, about the people that are working and living here, and you start going, you know what, this is really a valued service. And that's the great thing, is you've got a partnership here. And I'm a big believer in partnerships because the one thing I realized early on in life, I can maybe do a lot of stuff on a very limited basis, but when I start partnering up, it's amazing what we can do when we pool our resources. And so I hope that when people are listening to the station, enjoying the news broadcasts and the entertainment shows that are being presented, that they realize that you're not only the end user and enjoying what's being broadcast to you, but it can be a partnership too, where you can participate like I've discovered I can do and help get this service, enhance it, and provide even better programming. I'm Mike Suba, and I support KAWC.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here now joined by
Kyle Roehrenbeck and Taylor Lorenzo with 3 Bougie Chefs. Thank you both for being here this morning.
Hey, thanks for having us, guys.
Yes, and Kyle, I met you at Friday Night Munchies.
Yep.
Which is another venture of Justin, who we just talked about for the last episode. It's one of the many things that he does. And anyway, before we get to what you do at the 3 Bougie people, we're going to get into who you are. So, Kyle, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. I lived there for about 27 years. Then I made my first venture to Arizona, and I lived in Tucson and Phoenix for a little while before I met my wife.
Okay. And you're obviously one of the chefs, right?
Yeah, one of the chefs, one of the owners. And then Taylor Lorenzo would be the other bougie boy.
Yeah, the bougies. So, okay, when you were young, growing up in Ohio, were cooking, is that something that you're like?
Not
was
at
that
all.
a passion?
In fact,
not at all?
I was a failure. I remember my mom was sick one time, and I actually had to cook. I think I was probably like 12, 13. I had 2 younger sisters at the time, and I was making macaroni and cheese, and I forgot to even drain the water. So, if that says where my culinary prowess started from.
See, at least I know that much. That's what I know about cooking. But
I was more into sports. I'm a huge sports addict. I'm a Browns fan, all Cleveland, all the way. But yeah, I mean, that's really what I was into growing up.
Okay, so sports. Did you play sports too?
I did. I wrestled. I did track. I did football. That was pretty about much it. I did skiing in the wintertime. So,
okay, yeah. Then you guys got seasons over there,
right?
That's cool.
And snow.
And so, okay, then where did this come from?
So after a while, probably in my late 20s, I started really, I've always loved food, of course, and that's something that kind of drove me. I remember watching a show of Emeril Lagasse, and I was like, I want to do that. Like if I'm going to do something the rest of my life, it's going to cook food.
Okay.
So at that point, I was.
You got the macaroni cheese out again. You're like, we're going to do this one more time.
Right.
We're going to give it one more shot.
I'm going to drain the water. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to get made fun of. No, yeah. So, I decided to move out to Arizona. I went to Le Cordon Bleu. That's actually where I met Taylor in culinary school. And then, from then we worked at, countless resorts and, moved back to Ohio, had more kids, came back to Arizona, and then we decided, you know what, we're going to start our own thing. We're not going to work for the man anymore. So
So then, what was school like for you?
School was a lot of fun. I was older. I was in my 30s, so of course I was the old dog in a young area. So it was always kind of interesting to be walking around. But I think that helped me keep my head focused on what the prize was, and that was to learn as many culinary techniques as I could.
All right. So, Taylor, how about your story? Where you were from originally? And get that mic a little bit closer, please.
Okay, yeah. That's going to be a completely different story, you know what I mean? Because I grew up on, the reservation in New Mexico.
Okay.
So,
that's right. It's cool right there, bro. You're
cool?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I feel like I'm, leaning forward.
No.
But,
You
so
could put toss it up a little bit right there. Right. Anyway,
Sorry,
you're fine. You're good. You're
Anyway.
good. So go ahead. And so you grew up on the res in New Mexico.
Yep. I grew up on the reservation. There was never really, I guess I was very creative and did art in a lot of crafts. And I grew up with people that were very crafty, and we would go to swap meets and stuff. So it's kind of funny that coincidentally I'm working, Friday Night Munchies.
Yeah, Friday Night Munchies.
Swap meet, but I'm on the other side of it. Instead of selling the crafts and stuff, I'm making the food and, feeding people. Which
So
is really
you
cool.
said, young, you were doing just the craft side of things?
That kind of stuff. Just my grandparents had a couple acres, so they farmed and, had cattle and stuff like that. So, I had to tend to the cattle doing all that stuff while I was a kid. Didn't really know I was supposed to be doing it, or didn't really know it was a lot.
Yeah.
But, it was just my day to day.
It was your day to day.
Day to day. And
how'd you get into cooking, chefing, making delicious food?
That was just, my grandparents, cooking. My grandparents cooked breakfast every day. They cooked dinner every day. They were very adamant about making fresh tortillas every day. I had to learn how to make that at a young age. It was like a staple.
Yeah.
So there were certain things that just creatively I had to do, and cooking wise. And so it was, and then they let me cook. And whenever my grandparents went out of town or something, I would have to, cook for myself and figure out how to, survive.
So this was something when you were young then?
It's just something that started and planted and then, blossomed into any kind of art direction. I could have, I kind of just stumbled upon cooking.
Gotcha.
I got a brochure in the mail about going to culinary school.
Really? That's how it happened?
Yep.
You got a brochure in the mail?
Yep. When I was graduating high school, they just put it in the mail, and I was like, okay, this could be something I could do.
I got to ask, though, before we get to that part, so what was the best thing that your grandparents made? What was your favorite thing to eat?
The fry bread was really good.
Fry bread
tacos.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things, like Navajo burgers, Navajo taco, mutton stew, a cheat, all that kind of stuff, blue mush.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
they made a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it's very traditional, and I grew up learning all that and make all of that stuff. So it was very stuff that I can translate and still do now, even though it's something that I it's hooked. I carry with me every day.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you got that brochure in the mail. You said, "Oh, all right, I'm going to do it."
Yeah. And then I graduated high school when I was 17. And I moved to Phoenix, got in the culinary school. I got into culinary school, moved to Phoenix, didn't have much, got help from my grandparents and my mom. And then I ventured off, into the world.
And when did you guys meet?
In culinary school. We were actually in the same class.
very first class? Or
2010.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah, we were in the same class.
Yeah, okay. Same class.
Yep.
You guys are taking this. And how did the friendship kind of kick off? Did somebody like cheat on somebody? Like, hey, give me the answers.
Well, we both walked, so we were both walking.
Didn't have nothing.
Yeah, we both walked around. We took the Scottsdale trolley, almost to the same area where we'd get off. And after a while, we just kind of started talking to each other because we were in the same class. And then it's kind of funny. Our little group in our culinary class, we were the line A. We were the good ones. So we pulled ourselves together, and we boasted, we bragged.
Okay.
Maybe that's where Bougie even came back in then, because we were just like, hey, we got it, we got the goods, we know what we're doing. So, but yeah, it blossomed. Like I said, he lived with us. He's lived with me and my family for, I don't even know how long, Taylor. Long time. He's moved states. He's moved to Ohio and back. So
yeah. This was something that was in the works for, I feel, for maybe like since 2018.
Yeah.
2018, 2019.
Okay, and so what was it? You said you were line A. You were the top. Like, what made you guys so good?
Well, you could tell. I mean, we had like one dish was called consomme, right? You take a thing of beef and some vegetables around, and what it does, it actually takes all of the stuff out of the broth to make it clear, right? And it floats it on the top. You skim it and you take it off. Well, the beef patty and everything's supposed to congeal to be able to pull that up. Well, most of the class would have a McDonald's hamburger patty floating in the middle of it because and they just didn't take it seriously. They would watch Food Network and they were like, I want to be Gordon Ramsay.
Gotcha.
So you would see him fall out. Whereas the four of us, this is what we were about. This was what we wanted to do. We made that decision, and man, we got good at it.
All right. And so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back on the other side of the break and find out that decision that was made to open up 3 Bougie Chefs.
All right.
We're going to do that right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Turn on Border Radio KOFA 94.7 FM and cross musical borders every day. From new indie discoveries to timeless classics, listener-supported Border Radio brings you music you won't hear anywhere else. Live, local, and online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app.
What's Up Yuma Radio is sponsored in part by Nova Home Loans, serving Yuma County and nearby communities. Nova Home Loans offers residential lending services, including home loans and refinancing. They are also proud supporters of local community efforts and organizations. More information is available at novahomeloansyuma.com.
It's going to be sunny and hot in La Paz County today with the high near 111 in Parker. Clear this evening with a low around 79. In Quartzsite, a high near 112. Clear and breezy tonight with low around 82. And sunny in Yuma with a high near 109. Mostly clear this evening with a low around 81.
Hear the rhythm. Feel the beat. Let your curiosity run away on the Latin Alternative. Hi, I'm Josh Norick. Every episode of the Latin Alternative takes you on a thrilling rendezvous of sonic and exotic landscapes in Latin rock, funk, hip-hop, electronic, and tropical music. Join me and my co-host Ernesto Lechner on the Latin Alternative.
This evening at 7 p.m. on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM.
Vitalant is hosting blood drives from June 11th through the 18th at locations around the area, including Ativo Senior Living, River Valley Estates Library, and Onvita Health Medical Center. One blood donation can save up to 3 lives and help ensure that medical providers have the blood they need for emergencies and ongoing care. Details at vitalant.org.
Why is music an important part of your life? For many of us, music lets us see the world from someone else's perspective. We can find community in hearing someone else's joy, sorrow, or hope expressed in song or melody. KOFA Border Radio is your local, non-commercial source for great music.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here joined by
Kyle and Taylor with 3 Bougie Chefs. So we got to know your background. You went to culinary school together. You're working at these restaurants together. So why Yuma? Because you were in Scottsdale. You went to Ohio. What brought you down to Yuma?
My wife's family all lives here. Yep, we had back 3 years ago now, because it's about how long we've been here. We had twin baby girls, and we decided to move back to Yuma so her parents could witness our kids growing up, because my other two daughters grew up in Ohio with my family. So it was just the right thing to do at that point.
Yeah. And so let's talk about Three Bougie Chefs. So what, you said you didn't want to work for the man. So what was, sort of the impetus to sort of, create your own business?
Oh, I feel like it was just a something that was in the works for a long time. We decided that, we're making these businesses and the people we work for successful, and, not necessarily at the time, younger, doing the grind, it doesn't affect you all that much.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then once you kind of see the broader picture, you want to do more for yourself and more for people that, helped you along the way. So, that was kind of the birth of this. It's like, let's start working for ourselves and, become successful, because we know we can be successful. We've turned, places we've worked at around, all assets.
Yeah. And I looked at the bios. You guys worked at some pretty nice places, right? Tell me a little bit about that. Or the nicest, or like
we both worked. I worked in Scottsdale at Elements at the Sanctuary Camelback Resort under Bo McMillan. I worked there for years. Got to cook with a lot of famous people. Cooked for Muhammad Ali, a lot of people, which was really awesome to do. And I look back, and it's something that I'll hold my entire life. Taylor worked at one of the 15 in North America or South America.
No, probably more now.
Yeah, 5-star. But at the time, a 5-star, 5-diamond restaurant at Kai at Wild Horse Pass, where he did some legit food. So
yeah, so it was a good learning experience. So in that turning point in my career, these guys were getting ready to move back to Ohio, and I had to decide if I was going to do the fine dining, or if I would, tag along, or just stay in the restaurant that I was, or, so I was at that. So I decided to learn some techniques and, work with a bunch of people. And I got to learn, cook ingredients that I don't normally get to do on a daily basis. Like, as a business owner, I would be like, why would I even give that to, I do it for myself now would be impossible. But it was a good learning experience. And, at these restaurants, because there's a lot of good technique coming through the building. There's so many different minds on food, and we would it's in a nutshell, different types of turning ingredients into 5 different things.
Gotcha.
Thing. Yeah.
So I have the question: how did you guys come up with the name?
It's funny, we were sitting in the basement of our house in Grove City, and we were just kind of throwing some names in and
make a big list.
We made a big list. I like to tell people a story. It's it goes well, but it's just like, basically, we have fine dining experience. We know how to cook food that most people wouldn't eat, and normally, because it's too bougie. We would come back. I would come back home, and people would just be like, "Don't cook us none of that bougie food. Cook us some food." So when we decided to do sandwiches, the one thing about the Bougie Chefs is the fact that, the techniques that we put into our sandwiches are fine, but we use comfort sandwiches to appeal to the masses. That's why we have like the Sloppy Joe and things of that nature, because it's like, you don't need to know what we're putting in to make it bougie, because that might turn you away, because sometimes it does. Just know it's going to be darn good food. So.
Okay. Then the next thing is, so that one made it to the top of the list. You guys, again, maybe voted on it. But about the menu and doing, like you said, these comfort sandwiches.
We kind of looked at what's the area's kind of offers as well, like the Friday Night Munchies, how many different vendors were out there, the different food and stuff, and then what we make and what we can do. And then we also looked at it on a business standpoint. What's smart,
cost effective?
Yeah, what's cost effective? We know how to food cost and budget everything. So the sandwiches and all of that, and then we inherited a smoker.
Okay.
So, that was a bonus. So we're like, how can we manipulate this into our sandwiches or our food or something? Like, the ribs and all this stuff that we're doing now is new.
Oh,
like,
okay.
We started with the sandwiches and we were doing all that, and now we're kind of just venturing into this smoke pit idea and getting that out into the public.
So 3 Bougie Chefs, there's 2 of you. So tell our listeners who the third chef is.
The third is my wife, Samantha. She is she's a key integral piece to this. Without her, we would have probably not got off the ground. She took a job after the first year. We got 4 kids. We need insurance, right? So she's been holding it down. But she was a big key part in the decision making at the beginning. What we were doing. She had a dessert that was out that was pretty dang popular. I mean, we haven't done it since she's left because it was kind of her deal. But at the same time, we still have people ask us, "Where are the pie and the cups? Where are the pie and the cups?" And I'm like, man, we
tried to make them, but it's just not as good.
There's 2 of us, man. Yeah, that's not as good. Not as good. Hers,
or at least for how long?
She's a pastry chef. She was a pastry chef for a reason.
Yeah, she was a pastry chef. Okay, so quick background on her. Yeah, so she was a pastry chef for a long time. From when I met her, and then at the resort I was working at, so I would go down from the other kitchens to their department to go pick up the pastries for the day or the desserts or something. So there was always an interaction of daily prep lists and on what to do's and menu creative ideas and coming up with new dishes for said restaurants. So, she was involved in a lot of that. So that transitioned into the business. She did a lot of the pies in the cup. We did some cookie witches for a little while. We do like a smoked s'more, things of that nature. Yeah. So we implemented a lot of dessert aspects of our smoke pit.
So what's the menu look like right now with the sandwiches? And then because do they teach you how to smoke food in the school? Or
No, not
I
at
don't
all.
think so,
Not
right?
at all.
You're right.
That's-
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. And
That's all been like a learning process on both of our ends. Taylor's done a lot of research. Like up until maybe 2 years ago, we had minuscule smoking experience, and especially with working on, we have a Southern Pride, which is a rotisserie smoker. We can do about 80 slabs at one time, so it's a big time smoker. And learning that, my wife and I, when we were in Ohio, we did work for a small barbecue chain, so we got to work on a couple of these big smokers that help fuel the interest. And as we've got to tweak it to what we want and out of our company, it's a lot better. So that's where we learned that. But yeah, the sandwiches, we put a lot of the smoked meat in the sandwiches. Right now we got the sloppy joe, we have the patty melt, we have our smoked pork banh mi, we have our pork belly BLT, the Cuban, and our burger. So we run that, and then honestly, we have a new sandwich probably every week. The one cool thing about Taylor and I, we change
really?
it. Our customers will come up like, we love the fact you have new stuff on your menu. So like, we have one guy every week. He's like, man, like we run a smoked meatball sub. We've done a green chili double. Like we do. It really is just, we have the technique and the capability to do that.
And that's why, because you have the background, the technique, so it's not too daunting to come up with something new because it's a science for you. You kind of figured it out.
Right. And, and honestly, we play around with it. We'll run it as a special for a week. If it hits, then we put it on for about a month or two and, let it go. And, it's funny because, 6 months later, people will be like, man, where's the banh mi at? Or, where's the pork belly at?
That was a special.
Yeah, that was a special.
We'll come back.
Yeah, we'll come back. Like the Cuban. The Cuban, we took it off for about 3 weeks. And I think at Munchies, we almost got stoned 4 or 5 times. So,
Cubans are delicious.
And we deliver a good one. So it's a good thing to have. And yeah, like I said, he said earlier, the smoked meat is just something that we're now adding into it because we have good smoked meat.
All right. So what does the future look like? I know you guys are at Munchies right now, but what do you guys want to do?
Oh, I think in the works right now. We haven't even dabbled into we are catering side of our business.
Catering
is expanding out of state. So
yeah, we cater movies up in Portland, Oregon, and other than that, my sister's a movie producer, so she got us in last summer on that. So now we're into this whole movie thing, which has been a lot of fun. But I think eventually, we'd like to see a couple trucks up in Yuma running around. Like, I don't think we want to be so big as having a brick and mortar because we like the truck aspect and being mobile and meeting people throughout the town and not being stuck in one area.
Yeah.
But I think, just having a fleet of trucks that kind of go here, maybe go to El Centro, go to Phoenix, and you go around like that. And I think that's and just kind of keep it, we like our family. I don't want to be too busy to where I can't watch my daughters grow up.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think just being available for people. So from what I'm noticing and how we've kind of grown so far, it's like it's kind of disappointing to tell people we're not open or something. We would like to get to the point where we're consistent or just open and we're available for when people want us. But we're a small business right now. We're the two people running the operation.
So absolutely.
The ins and outs are not that simple.
Every part of it. Yeah.
So how do people find out more information about you guys?
Right now, you can find us on all social media platforms. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's where a lot of people get a hold of us at. You can also find us on Google. We do have the website, the information page with the phone number there. You can also find us at Friday Night Munchies every Friday night out at the fairgrounds. And then from Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, we are on 1744 South Pacific Avenue in that dirt lot right next to Taco Loco and Pancho's Tacos.
All right. And we got some food outside waiting for us, right?
Yeah, we smoked up some ribs for you. We got our pasta salad and our 3-bean salad in there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Legal read time?
Yes. And with that, What's Up Yuma Radio is a production of KAWC, Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. Want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Ornelas, Juan Garcia, and Dave Reek.
You can find out more about KOFA at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. Stay tuned for KOFA's Midday Music. Do you have the names? I have the names. If you
Go ahead.
On tomorrow's show, we'll have Lauren Duffel. She's a reporter with KYMA, and Stephanie Lopez, who's been doing some reporting for What's Up Media.
Oh, yeah. And
you can listen to the podcast version of our program and check out past episodes anytime at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio.
And if you want to get on the show, make sure you visit whatsupyuma.biz. Once again, whatsupyuma.biz. Click the radio link and click book me. You can book some time on this show as well. And I'm excited to have Stephanie on tomorrow. That's pretty cool. She did something for me this weekend.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. So,
all right. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Citrine Law, LLC, a Yuma law firm practicing criminal defense, DUI defense, and personal injury law. Information is at citrinelaw.com.